Ciao ragazzi! This video tutorial is about forming the passato prossimo, or the past tense, when the helping verb is avere. So, let's take a look. You can feel free to read these sentences with me or listen to me read them and then pause them and repeat them yourself. Our first sentence here, Dante e Matteo hanno aspettato il treno. Silvano ha nuotato nel mare. Alina ha ricevuto una cartolina dalla sua amica. Tu hai visitato Puglia? Io ho guardato il programma alla televisione. All right, so let's take a closer look at these sentences. You probably recognize the root verbs in each one. Aspettato looks like the verb aspettare, to wait for. Nuotato looks like the verb nuotare, to swim. Ricevuto looks like the verb ricevere, to receive. Visitato looks like visitare, to visit. And guardato looks like guardare, to watch. But you see that they all have this ato, uto, or I don't have an example here, but a third possible ending could be ito. And that depends on if it was originally an ARE verb like aspettare, nuotare, visitare, guardare. These all would have an ato ending in the past tense. An ERE verb like ricevere has an uto ending in the past tense. And an IRE verb like dormire. In fact, why don't I make a dormire sentence? Let's see, we've got a loro, lui, lei, tu, io. How about a noi sentence for dormire? Noi abbiamo dormito 8 ore. Va benissimo. Scusa, voglio fare così e poi evidenzio tutto. Ok, noi abbiamo dormito 8 ore. So in this sentence, you can see that dormito looks like the verb dormire, to sleep. And here I have an ito ending because dormire was originally an IRE verb. So the past tense, unlike present tense, is made up of two parts. Your first part here, you can see what they all have in common. I have hanno, a, I, o, abbiamo. And these are, of course, all forms of the verb avere, which means to have. So in English, we don't always say to have as a helping verb in our past tense sentences, but you could say, I have visited Italy before. In English, it's also acceptable, though, to say, I visited Italy. Really, in English, there are some grammatical reasons for when we should and shouldn't do that, but the point is, it doesn't sound totally crazy to have that helping verb there. And in Italian, the rule is when you're forming the past tense, il passato prossimo, you absolutely must have a helping verb, which for now we're only going to talk about when that helping verb is avere. And you're going to have this past participle, which is formed from the root of a verb that you're familiar with, plus an ato, udo, or ito ending. So let's take a look at this structure really broken down. You've got your two parts. You've got your helping verb and you've got your past participle. So the helping verb, we said, is a form of, let me pick a nice color, a form of avere, like the examples that we saw, or it can also be, and we're not really learning about this yet, but you should be aware it exists, it could also be a form of essere. And the helping verb is very important because it tells us, let me see if I can get a color that shows up a little better. The helping verb tells you who did the action. And the helping verb tells you that because avere or essere is conjugated. Now, the past participle, the second piece of information that you have here, is formed from an ARE verb, which you would drop that ARE, and to make a past participle, the ending becomes ato. For an ERE verb, drop the ERE ending and change it to uto. And for an IRE verb, drop the IRE ending and change it to ito. And the helping or the past participle is important because it tells us what the action was. So just to show you some examples, I have this one already here. Hanno giocato. So this hanno tells me who did the action, and in this case, that hanno, if you pause the video a second and think about it, who did the action if the helping verb is hanno? All right, so if your helping verb is hanno, then you know that the subject was loro because hanno is the loro conjugation of avere. So that loro is implied. You don't necessarily have to say it. Let's see. Okay, so loro hanno, and the action was giocare, to play. Here we have a past participle, so loro hanno giocato. All together makes they played. Let's do another example. How about I'll make the subject tu, and I'll make my verb, say I wanted to say parlare al telefono, to talk on the phone. So I need a helping verb, a conjugation of avere. The tu conjugation of avere is I, and my verb that I said is parlare. So it would be tu hai parlato. Now, if I wanted that whole phrase, I said, you spoke on the telephone. I have to say, tu hai parlato al telefono. How about one more example? Let me pick a different verb, not IRE or I'm sorry, not ARE. Let's do preferire. Okay, so my verb is going to be preferire, and my subject here, I'll choose noi. Okay, so of course that noi is optional. Noi, I need my helping verb. That's going to be once again a conjugation of avere. So noi form of avere is abbiamo, and my past participle for preferire is going to be preferito. Va bene. I hope that this tutorial has been helpful for you. If you're feeling like one of your problems is that you're having some trouble remembering avere, then I'd like you to just take a minute and I'll add a slide in here and we can review those really quickly. So let's do avere. So this is one of the first verbs that you learned. Hopefully that means you know it really, really well. Otherwise, it could mean that maybe you're a little rusty on it, so it would never hurt to review. That's always going to be a good thing. So, avere. Your io conjugation is o. Tu, hai, lui, lei, and lei formal is going to be a. Noi abbiamo, voi avete, loro hanno. This should give you all of the pieces that you need in order to conjugate Passato Prossimo with avere on your own. In bocca al lupo.